Am I the a-hole for not providing for my children's half-sister? So I, female 31, have been married twice. My first marriage was to Ted. It was short-lived, but Ted and I had 2 children together, James 11 and Maggie female 10. They are close in age. Ted and I separated in 2016. In our state, you have to be legally separated a year before you got divorced, if you have children born in the marriage. 4 months out of the year separation date, Ted committed bigamy. He got remarried before we were legally divorced. It prolonged our divorce by several months. In the end, Ted was convicted of several felonies and given strict probation. I told the judge I just wanted to be divorced. The courts annulled the marriage to the second woman because it wasn't legal. Ted stayed with the second woman, Beth, for 5 or so years to my understanding, and in that time frame, they had a daughter together who is almost 5. The daughter is under the mom's last name due to them not being married. So my children with him are his only legitimate children according to state law. Ted walked out on Beth and their child for another woman. Ted is ordered to pay the minimum in child support for their child, but remains voluntarily unemployed so he can avoid payments. Ted does not claim the daughter is had with Beth. Ted has told his new girlfriend that he has only 2 children, not 3. Beth and her family believe the lies Ted told them. Ted told Beth that I took his house and his money. Ted had neither of these things. I've remarried and the home we reside in belonged to my now spouse before I married him. My children live a drastically better lifestyle than child of Beth and Ted. My ex-mother-in-law, the mom of Ted, refuses to have a relationship with her 3rd grandchild, but gives my children lavish gifts and nice things. Beth and her family say I should split things 3 ways instead of 2, so the daughter can inherit a portion of what I've been leaving my children. They say she is entitled to it because Ted is the dad to all of them. The family has asked for money, diapers, and other things, saying I have a responsibility to the child, since all of the family Ted has favor my children. I have even been contacted by an attorney hired by the 3rd child's maternal family, who asked me to update everything so the child gets a portion. My dad died in 2019 and left me a substantial inheritance. Beth and her family want her child included in this. I feel like it's not my place to tend to a child I didn't give birth to, but I'm being called selfish because I said no. Because the child is under her mom's last name, they'd have to approach the courts to ask a judge to legitimize this child. As of right now, the child is not legally allowed to inherit anything Ted or his paternal family may have. I don't know if he's on the birth certificate. I'm guessing so because he pays child support. The judge mentioned that my children are his only legitimate children due to them being born within our marriage. So I guess he can pay support to the child still be illegitimate? My children carry his last name, which holds a lot with state law. Am I the a-hole for not providing for my children's half-sister? Edit. When Beth filed for child support, she told her attorney what Ted had told her, that I had taken everything he'd had. The attorney put in a request to have property included in the amount of support Beth would get. I guess like Ted and I sell or something. The DA in the county Beth lives in, which is like an hour away, had a summons sent out to me. I had to provide divorce documents, proof Ted had never been on the deed of my home, and a lawyer for Beth had dug around and found out about what my dad left me. The attorney tried to tell the judge that the child was entitled to a portion of all this because I had been married to Ted, but the judge shot it down. The lawyer also tried to say my children didn't carry the same last name, as Ted and I proved otherwise. I never had to go back because the judge knew they were grasping at flies, so to speak. Ted was ordered to pay Beth $52 a month, which is the minimum for one child with an unemployed parent. Beth doesn't work either. Ted works under the table to avoid giving Beth money. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Seriously, what the heck? I feel so sorry for the kid in all this having a total deadbeat father, but that doesn't make it your responsibility at all. Deadbeat dad and cuckoo mother. She wants her kid to have a share in OP's inheritance from her father's estate. Neither father nor OP are related to the kid. The mom is just as bad as Ted, greedy and grasping. Not the a-hole. Stop engaging with Beth and her greedy family. You have zero obligation towards her or her child. This. And report that attorney to the Bar Association for even contacting you with such a frivolous threat. Or hire an attorney to send Beth and her attorney a strongly worded letter to tell them to get the heck out of here. Asking is probably legal. Demanding? Would it be? Because the lawyer would know there were no legal grounds. Yes, I'm a lawyer. We always know. But there are those in my profession that will use scare tactics, unethically, to obtain something the client isn't entitled to gain. This lawyer is hassling OP, probably because they cannot put this on the grandparents. There is no world under which OP has to share what her kids get, gifts, money, etc., with Beth. That probably includes an inheritance from the grandparents. I don't know for certain because I don't know where OP lives. But it is probably true if her kids are seen as the only legitimate heirs. It is Ted who is responsible for all three. His parents are most likely free to pass their assets to OP's children. Next story. Am I the a-hole for ending my relationship with my girlfriend after she revealed to me that she's child-free? I, male 33, have been in a relationship with my significant other, Tara, female 32, for the past 1.5 years. I've always wanted children, and for the past weeks I've been floating the idea to Tara. When we first met, I made it abundantly clear to her that I eventually wanted children, and she said that she wanted the same. Overall, I'd say that Tara has been a fantastic significant other. She's head over heels for me, and it is partially because she has never had a relationship last longer than a few weeks. However, since I've been bringing this up recently, she seems to like avoiding the topic, or will straight up change subjects. Lately, I've even noticed how her face just drops whenever I mention the topic. Last Saturday, I brought up the idea again to her, and she then asked if we could have a frank and honest conversation. I agreed, and basically what she told me was that she didn't want children. When I asked why, she told me that she didn't want to for reasons. She then started saying things like how she lied because it's tough dating people and being child-free, etc. I asked her if there was any chance she'd change her mind, and she said she wouldn't. Surprisingly, things went pretty normal. But I was thinking about this constantly. In the following days, Tara seemed much happier and more affectionate, and started saying things like how she felt so relieved that I didn't get upset or something. Honestly though, after thinking it through and speaking with my parents, I didn't think I'd be able to continue the relationship. So Wednesday, I sat her down and told her about my feelings and how I didn't think our relationship could continue. Tara was extremely upset, more than I had ever seen, and ended up leaving before the conversation was even over. She's been gone since then, and she's even left all her belongings at my apartment. I did, however, hear from one of her friends that she's staying with a friend who lives pretty close to us. She also stopped going to work and is spending most of her days crying and not even eating. I spoke with some of my own friends and they think I overreacted considering that I should have expected as much, considering Tara doesn't like talking about her childhood since she had bad memories about that. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. As someone who has no interest in kids, I find it difficult to understand why you would begin a committed relationship without making abundantly clear. Children is such a huge role in a relationship, and it's fair for it to be a make or break deal. I think if she told you prior to getting together and you acted like it's fine, you'd be the a-hole. Or even if she just changed her priorities as under, but she lied to you from the get-go. She said it was because she didn't think I'd stay around if she told me from the get-go. Guess I kinda proved her right, unfortunately. That's such a crappy thing to do. Like, yes, let me just lie about this major part of myself for 1.5 years so I'm not alone? Huh? If she wants her wishes of being child-free respected, she needs to respect people who don't. Yeah, it sucks. Part of me is thinking maybe I should just try being child-free so I can reconcile with her. But I've always wanted kids. The whole thing just made me sad. Not the a-hole. She lied to you to manipulate you and it's a deal breaker for you, so you're totally justified in breaking it off. It's a total breach of trust. Don't let her guilt trip you into returning. This is why dating sucks. The most amazing chemistry can be spoiled by just one pragmatic reality. If she's not had a proper relationship before, then it makes sense that she's very upset. But it's her problem now, to be honest. I would arrange for her friend to collect her things. Yeah, I started discussing that with her friends. They said they'd come by sometime next week. We'll arrange a time. The whole thing kinda sucks. Yeah, breakups do, bud. Sorry you have to deal with this. Do you have some good friends and family around? Next story. Am I the a-hole for flipping out on my fiancé in front of a crowd because he keeps taking my brand new vehicle without even telling me? My fiancé Tom has a habit of taking my stuff without asking because he feels I should be able to do the same with his stuff. He's constantly saying, "You don't have to ask, just take it. What's mine is yours," whenever I ask to use anything of his. And he expects to have the same rule applied when it comes to my belongings. I never agreed to this. In fact, I have voiced multiple times that it's rude not to ask, and have voiced irritation when he uses my stuff without asking. When it comes to small stuff, I get irritated because he never puts my stuff back where it belongs. And then I have to go on a wild goose chase to find the item because he can't remember where he put it down either. He has ADHD. For instance, he forgets all of his travel mugs in his vehicle, and instead of going to grab them, he will just take mine until all the travel mugs are in his vehicle. But honestly, the main issue is money in my vehicle, if I'm being honest. If he needs something and he doesn't have the money, he will just take my debit card without asking beforehand because he would expect me to do the same with his debit card if I need something. More recently, I bought a brand new vehicle, and there are days when I wake up in the morning and him and my vehicle are gone because he's taken my vehicle to go to the gym instead of his vehicle because mine is far better on gas. Or he went to donate his old clothing the other day and again took my vehicle. Or he went grocery shopping 4 nights ago and took my vehicle. And last night, we had a bunch of people over and one of his buddies needed to go to the store. So Tom said he would go with him and he just grabbed my vehicle keys. I told him no. He just kind of stood there staring at me. So I said, "What? You're not taking my vehicle to drive your friend around. Start asking to use my stuff because I'm getting extremely ticked off that you take my vehicle all the time. And if you have my debit card, you better leave that on a counter too, because you're not taking that either." He looked extremely embarrassed and put both my keys and my debit card on a counter and walks outside. He comes back in maybe 5 minutes later, saying his buddy decided to take off for the night, and then he went upstairs to our bedroom. Later on, when everyone else left, he said that I embarrassed him. That if it was such a big deal for him to use my stuff, then I should have brought it up prior to this. I told him I had brought it up, several times in fact, because him constantly using my stuff is really building a wall of resentment at this point. He has his own vehicle, he has his own money. He has his own means to do things, so why is he using mine? He said he lost his debit card. True, he lost it 2 days ago and is waiting for a replacement. And that he didn't feel the vehicle issue was even something to get worked up about, because I am allowed to use his vehicle whenever I want. He's given me permission, but I refuse to drive it. I've only driven it twice because I had to in the past 3 years. He says I shouldn't have embarrassed him like that, and I should have waited until everyone was gone to say something. But I am getting tired of saying anything. It's my stuff. Don't touch it without permission. I don't think it's a hard concept. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Your fiancé is taking your stuff without asking is not cool. Tom keeps using your new car and debit card without permission. You've told him to stop many times, but he doesn't listen. You finally called him out in front of friends when he tried to take your car again. He says you embarrassed him, but you're just setting boundaries. Your stuff, your rules. This speaks and says he never respected OP's boundaries. I wish people would be better at understanding patterns. OP is just means to an end to this selfish a-hole. He does not respect OP at all. If he did, he wouldn't be taking her things whenever it suits him, knowing well that OP would never do that to him. Her words have no meaning to him. He just does as he pleases and she keeps hoping he'll change. But he won't. This is going to be OP's life in big and small things, until she has wasted years of her life and he has sucked her dry. He is selfish and has no intention of ever not putting himself first. Not a-hole. He only heard you this time because he felt embarrassed. He probably still didn't hear her, might be butthurt for a while and then go back to using her stuff without asking. And if she brings it up, he brings up her embarrassing him, because he still doesn't get it. Doesn't want to get it. Last story. Am I the a-hole for making a comment about a woman's body after she tried to shame me and my girlfriend? My girlfriend and I got invited to this engagement party that my friend from undergrad has. I found out later that a girl, I'll call her Erin, and I went on a few dates with in undergrad was going. Normally, this wouldn't matter at all, but after I told her I wasn't feeling a romantic spark but we could be friends, Erin flipped out on me. She would send me tons of voicemails telling me I was leading her on. I was shallow. Not sure what prompted this. Never told her I didn't like her because of her appearance. And I wouldn't find anyone else but her, etc., etc. It's been several years since undergrad, so I assumed that she would have hopefully chilled out or have forgotten about me. Fast forward to the party, me and my girlfriend are mingling and my girlfriend is very nice and friendly, so she's getting along with everyone. I run into Erin and she immediately makes a comment in a snide tone. "Oh hey, I didn't know you'd be here. Almost didn't recognize you with the dad bod." I just say hello and try to ignore her, but she's kind of following me for a bit. She makes another snide comment when she saw my girlfriend from afar by saying, "She's so thin. I always knew that was your type." And I ask Erin to please leave me alone for the night and she just stomps away. I find my girlfriend and we were hanging out and having fun until Erin comes up to us and makes a comment. "Oh, Opie, who is this?" My girlfriend introduces herself politely before I could say something and compliments Erin's nails. Erin doesn't even introduce herself and says in a condescending tone, "I wish I could pull off the dress you're wearing, but I think it only works for people with small boobs." I try to keep my cool because we are all way too old for this, but I became really agitated with Erin making comments about people's bodies. I snapped back and said, "I think it'd be difficult to pull off for you in the waist area. If you want to know where we got this dress, I'd be happy to send you the link in a bigger size." Erin immediately recoils. She doesn't say anything and leaves. Later that night, a few mutual friends came up to me saying they saw Erin sobbing and told them I called her fat and ruined her night. My girlfriend tells me Erin was projecting her insecurities onto us and she wasn't even mad, just sad for her. I admit it was not the most mature move I've done, but how warranted was my comment? Am I the a-hole? She can obviously dish it out, but can't take it. Perhaps you taught her a valuable lesson. It takes no more effort to be nice than it does to be a douche. Perhaps you taught her a valuable lesson. Perhaps not though. Considering she went crying to other people about how mean Opie was, she sounds like the type who thinks it's mean when done to her, but if she does it to someone else, it's just telling it like it is. Some people just lack self-awareness and empathy. They can only ever see things from their own point of view. I know someone like this. They're always only telling it like it is or only joking. But when you say something back, they're suddenly a victim. I don't have the time or the care. Bye, Felicia. Not the a-hole. Hopefully you let others know she made poor comments first. But the fact that your girlfriend said she feels sorry for Erin and she's not upset, you got yourself a winner. That's why she's still a girlfriend. He's obviously not letting her go. And for Erin with her attitude, she doesn't deserve someone.